How to lead your birth or baby business fearlessly. Hi, my name's Liz Stanford and I'm one half of Baba Business, the Birth and Baby Business Academy.
My name's Anna Lagrange and I'm the other half of the Birth and Baby Business Academy, the community membership for birth and baby business owners who want to turn their passion into profit. So this is called leading your business. And some of you might be listening thinking, well, I'm not a leader. I'm just someone who's just started a birth and baby business and I'm just helping my community. But you are a leader, and this leader mentality is so important. And I think it's more important than ever,
Yeah.
because a lot of what we're seeing is some kind of icky stuff, some not very
Mm-hmm.
nice stuff out there, which has always been around, but I feel like it's increasing more and more. And the
Mm-hmm.
sort of icky stuff I'm talking about is where we're sort of pitting ourselves against each other, or we see someone as competition, or what we're really saying when we're someone's competition is we're saying they're a threat to us. And
Mm-hmm.
those feelings come from a place of scarcity in ourselves, and from anybody who feels like that, they're obviously feeling scarcity, they're wanting to grip hold of whatever they have tightly, they're worried that other people are going to impact their business, all that kind of stuff, which is all normal human behavior. But we know that for businesses to thrive and do really well, you need to become that community leader, that leader of your business, of yourself, and then of those around you as well, and come up with that kind of and lead with that community and that inspiring and motivational kind of mindset to the way you work.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I think it's really, like you said, it has always been around. Like I remember starting out, and I do remember feeling that sense of competition with people because I was so passionate about not just the work that I did and how the impact that would have on people, but I was so passionate about making my business my full-time income, and that was my path and my purpose, that I do remember right at the beginning feeling that kind of contraction, if you like, contraction of like, oh, I don't want anyone to take, to take my clients, to take my space, if you like. But I soon
Mm.
realized that was such a toxic way of thinking, and that actually wasn't going to benefit me or help me in any way. And really, since that kind of mindset change, I have taken the approach of just being so open with people and helping people and supporting people. And
Yeah.
you do always done that, and like your upbringing, is reflected in that as well. That's what you've always known, is to be helpful and supportive to people. So it but I still remember being rejected and hurt by other people, and it was horrible and it was icky, but it was fine. Like I survived it. But you're
Mm.
right. These days, we sound so old, Anna. These days, it does feel like there
Mm.
is some kind of, I don't know, integrity button or ethics
Mm.
button missing. And people might be thinking, like, these two are talking in circles, but we are seeing people out there experiencing the behavior of others, which is not befitting of a birth or baby business owner. People not communicating properly or effectively, and ultimately, um, one person feeling that they've been hard done by or not treated right, or goodness forbid that their work has been taken or used inappropriately. It's tough out there, and I think that you touched on this before we pressed record, that the scarcity mindset that we're
Yeah.
seeing in the media, in society, in the world at the moment is really playing into the way that business owners are interacting with each other. And we've kind of got to break free of that mindset, because it's not doing anybody any good at all.
No, it really isn't. And I want people to come back to their roots and think about, like, why did you move into this world? Like,
Yeah.
we are here, and I can't think of any job in the birth and baby world that isn't for this. We're here to help people build relationships, become closer to their children, become closer to their partners, loved ones, to tune in more to themselves. And we're there as a support. So I would, we should lead from that place. and I don't want to like call any particular area of the birth and baby world out at all. I see this in doulas a lot. I also see it in the breastfeeding world a lot. Is like this sort of, just not very nice stuff, like it's not speaking very nicely about other people, are kind of like almost forming cliques, like, oh well, we're better because it could be anything. It could be we charge less, or we've got a midwifery background, or it could be anything. But that sort of separation, that polarization, separating, that's so rife in every other part of our lives. Like, we have got this opportunity to be out in our communities being anti the polarization, the sort of, I can sound really bad, but anti the hate, anti the putting other people down and disconnecting and pitting people against each other. Like, we have this opportunity to really lead and bring people together and show them like what non-judgment and supportiveness and we can demonstrate what listening to somebody else's opinion that may not agree with ours, how we can listen to that respectfully and still not get all defensive and be like, well I think differently, so therefore we can't be in a group together, or anything like that. I think for example, you might see it between your parents. I've run many groups and two parents have had two very polarizing ways of doing something. And a good leader will say, that's okay, like, this is the way that you do it, this is the way that you do it, that's what's working for you. And we can create respectful, non-judgmental places, but it has to start with us. And if we can do it for parents, then we should also be doing it for others around us in the birth and baby world. And here's the really difficult part about it: not everybody is gonna follow your lead, but if you can rise above that nasty or insecure or divisive behavior, then you are, even if it feels like you're on your own, you are taking that step towards us living in a nicer world. That's how I honestly see it. Like, it sounds a little bit like cliche, but we all can do our part in creating lovely supportive communities. And I just really want to challenge us all to do, me included, to do that in all areas of our life.
I absolutely agree. I think, treat others how you want to be treated, treat their businesses how you want your business to be treated. And the really sad thing about this is that collaboration is always going to be more beneficial than competition. So collaborating with those people that have got the same or a similar audience to you is going to move both of you forward in your business, and doing it appropriately and effectively. So there are some do's and some don'ts. I think it's really important that if you're thinking of collaborating with someone, so not just networking with somebody and building a relationship and getting to know them, but actually collaborating and maybe forming a short-term partnership or working on a particular project together. Don't go into that really lightly and he's like, we're saying lead and be open and do all this stuff, but at the same time you've got to protect yourself, your business and your boundaries. So don't rush into anything with somebody, even if you think, oh yeah, I know that person, I've been for a coffee with them or whatever. Going for a coffee with somebody is not the same as actually working with somebody or going into business with somebody. So make sure you've really got your values are super aligned. There's nothing worse than saying you're going to do something together, like offer a particular service, and then suddenly realizing that you're at polar ends of how your opinion on things, which some people can deal with really well and can actually even enhance a collaboration. But if you can't get beyond that, or there's no compromise in the way that you do things, is going to be very, very challenging. So making sure that you're aligned with your values is really important, and then making sure that there are boundaries in place and that there's something written, there's a contract. Don't ever think, oh, we're only doing it as a one-off, we don't need to. You do, because it stops any heartache or any issues further down the line. Everybody knows where they are. You could just put something in writing, people, you agree to it, you sign it, and then you can refer back to it if there's any issues. It might feel a little bit formal or a little bit like, oh, that's not how I do things, but it's important. This is a business, and you need to treat it accordingly.
Yeah, it's like you're sorting out all the potential problems before they can even occur, rather than firefighting when they happen. That's what's so great about a contract. And then you're looking at like, well, this could happen. What would we do if this happened? What would we do if a mum came in and did this? What would we do if, like even as simple as what would we do if someone asked for a refund? Like you've got to be aligned with that kind of thing. We have this sometimes for different things. We have to be able to have a conversation about it without one of us getting defensive, or and even we disagree about things, but it's not about that we don't, of course we can't agree on everything, but it's not about disagreeing with somebody, it's about how you deal with it. And you almost got to decide that, like, we've kind of got this I think under kind of like unwritten rule that we will always like respectfully hear each other out. We'll
Yeah.
always, I feel like we both know that we can both talk quite openly and honestly without the other person getting defensive, or and we're very lucky in that way. But you can't really head into some kind of collaboration or partnership without kind of knowing how you might deal with conflict. So have those conversations, like, say if you disagree with something that I say, like, how are we going to handle it? So that's so
Yeah.
important. I think the other thing when it comes to this leadership, and it's about your mindset. Mindset is so important. If someone's triggering you, you've got to figure out why. And
Yeah.
that's about you. Yes, they have been annoying. They might have done something that's even completely out of, like, just outrageous.
Yeah.
But you've got to figure out what is it inside of you that's triggered to make you feel the way that you're feeling.
Yeah.
So we're triggered by all sorts of weird things, and it's so important that we have tools that we can dig down to be like, oh, why did that made that really upset me? Like, name the emotion. Like, how did it make you feel? I love those feeling wheels, where you've got the main feelings like anger, sadness, whatever in the middle, then they spread out to kind of those more granular emotions. So really, like, think about, okay, journal out, how did that make me feel? Why did it make me feel like that? How can I respond? And ideally you'll do that before you respond in anger or upset, preferably, but it takes practice. But the more you're able to kind of notice when you're triggered, and this isn't just for business, by the way, this works for parenting, it works for your marriage or your relationships, even with your parents, everything. It's such a useful tool. But if you want to be a leader in the birth and baby business world, then, and successful business owner, having that level of self-awareness is gonna just serve you so well.
Yeah, definitely. And this doesn't mean being a walkover either, or a pushover, or a yes person. You protect yourself and your business and your clients and your income, like those. You are entitled to boundary those and protect those. So don't feel like you always have, because we're saying be a leader and be open and reflect on yourself, doesn't mean that you have to be the person who, like, gives in or says, you're like, oh, okay, fine. It's about being able to have like difficult conversations, as we said, and having that communication that's going to take you to the next level, the next step. And actually, if you can have those conversations with somebody, then you've grown as a person, and they've probably grown as a person as well. And whether that collaboration is gonna be effective long term doesn't really matter. You've learned for the next time that you will do some, potentially have another collaboration. So it's all in the name of growth and development, but it can feel really sticky and really difficult. So yeah, it's a hard one to approach sometimes.
Yeah, it's really hard. I think the thing is, the more you're self-aware, the more, if you are able to label and name your feelings and how you've experienced something, it makes it easier to come in with boundaries, because then you can say, when you said that, or when you did that, it made me feel this way, and that's not okay for, say, my business or my clients, and therefore I'm not going to be able to move forward with this, or therefore next time I'm going to do this, or therefore, I don't think this partnership's going to work. But it doesn't even have to be someone you're in partnership with. It could be like another business owner down the road that really triggers you, and you've realized through self-reflection, why am I even following them on social media? Like, why they constantly triggering me up? They're constantly making me, I'm feeling rubbish by watching them. I'm thinking it's constantly on my mind. It's impacting my business. Just unfollow them. Like, ignore what's going on their side and stay in your lane and focus on the positivity and the things that what you're working towards, and that sort of like I say, that leadership role, having your role in your community for the people you work with, and you're going to feel so much better. So it's absolutely about boundaries more than being a pushover. And I think we can only put in boundaries and make decisions when we're very like intimate with our own with why we're feeling a certain way. So I think I totally agree with the boundaries thing. We've talked about when you shouldn't be perhaps working with someone or following somebody, but it's also really important to find the people. We talked about this a lot in last week's episode. Find the people that are going to lift you up. And we have 2 communities for this. We have our free community, which is our 10-minute mindset mastery hub, where we work together on spending 10 minutes a day on a mindset tool that's going to help us to grow our businesses and grow ourselves. And then we've obviously got our other community, which is our own membership, which is £25 a month. And that is where we give a lot more. We are in there a lot more. We have got a community platform where we all chat. We've got our content and we've got our live calls as well. So if you are looking for an uplifting place to be, if where you are, it's feeling a bit like, it was feeling a bit scarcity and competitive, come into Baba, because we absolutely do not have that. It is very much a supportive and uplifting space, and we will put the details in the show notes for you.
Yay! See you next week.
Bye.